Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. Being a baseball fanatic like me can be stressful. It's not all sports points and touchdowns. So Progressive is going to help you take your mind off your team for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they missed that goal point score, think about the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, letting you choose coverage options based on your budget, unlike your team that missed the end zone net area. Well, anyway, hope this distraction about Progressive's Name Your Price tool was helpful. It sure kept me from thinking about all those penalty balls. Yay, sports!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
And happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Glad you could join us. It's probably the greatest racing weekend of the entire year. From Formula One to Indianapolis to Charlotte, it's going to be a big day. And the Slinger Speedway tonight, too.
Fireworks.
To make your weekend complete. Todd Bailing in Greendale, Wisconsin, joined by my three partners, Ed Kaluka of West Penn. Morning, Eddie.
Fireworks.
Yeah. That must mean you're coming to Slinger then, huh?
I'll tell you what, you can travel anywhere you want and go to any lakefront you want. You're never going to find better fireworks than Todd puts on at Slinger Speedway.
Very cool.
They are unbelievable.
Dan Margetta of St. Francis, Wisconsin. Hey,
good morning. I'll be watching Monaco, watching Indy, keeping up with the Coke 600 on my phone while I'm at Slinger watching the fireworks.
Good God. And you got to wonder what Brian Schmidt of Outsburg, USA is going to be doing.
Not sure yet. Lots of options. Lots of racing going on this weekend. And it looks like the weather's going to cooperate for once. It's not been good all week leading up to yesterday, but looks like we're going to have a good rest of the weekend here, so that's good.
And it's been a busy week of racing already. The let's see now. The Xfinity Series raced. Josh Berry was your winner. Franklin, Wisconsin's Sam Mayer won a first pole of his life. He didn't even make it close. He was 0.2 of a second faster than anybody else. And it was, I don't know if he planned on doing it that way. He got into that crazy third turn where cars were getting out of shape, and he kept the thing to the floor and just steered, and the car stayed off the wall. I mean, it's almost like he surprised himself along with everybody else. What a fantastic lap. Certainly got their attention, and way to go, Sam.
He caught the rosin just right,
Yeah, I guess.
And, the finish of that race should not reflect the quality of it. I mean, the two cars battled for the lead with the 7-car, and it was unbelievable what a battle they were having. A 7-car crash that gave the leader a 17-point-second lead over third place. But the battle throughout the field for the whole race was fantastic.
Yeah, it was between Josh Berry and Allgaier pretty much the whole event. They were the two-class cars, and Sam was right there in third. But the way that played out with that green flag pit stop towards the end, and it was the driver's broadcast. I don't know if you watched it. I thought they did a really good job.
Oh, they're fantastic.
What surprises how bad the production team didn't understand the racing part. When those guys came off of pit road, when the 7 and 8 car were coming off pit road, granted they weren't leading at the time, but that was going to be the win of the race, and the drivers had to direct the cameras over there. Hey, those guys are side by side. This is going to be for the win of the race. And it took them a while to get over and get that on TV. I thought, these guys know more what's going on in the camera, guys. Come on, but they did a pretty good job.
Oh, absolutely amazing job. It's an experiment, and the guys act like they don't know what they're talking about and what they're doing. But my God, they're more fun to listen to than any of the well, I shouldn't say that, but they're really, really good. And,
they are better than the rest.
Yeah, some of them. I mean, I missed. I used to think that old Larry Mack was just hard to hear because he has so many of his funny pronunciations. But my God, Larry is fantastic, and he would have fit in just perfectly with those guys yesterday. But on the other hand, they did wonderful, and right down to Brad Keselowski, who was a great in-the-studio host, and Harvick, who really, really was a great leader with three guys in the tower. If I just could get past all of Logano's screaming laughter, I would probably be better off. But either way, they did a great job. And kudos to Fox for figuring out that these guys could do that. And it's a 5-year experiment. Do you guys realize they've been doing that for 5 years already? It's pretty amazing when you think about it. So if you'd like to call us today, we would love to hear from you. Our number is 414-421-7901, and let us know what you think about anything going on in the world of racing. There's some crazy things going on that we're going to be talking about. Probably, I would say we could talk about the truck race the other night that Ross Chastain won Friday night. Was it so much about Ross Chastain's win? No, it was pretty impressive. Would Ross Chastain have won if Rich Bickle's favorite driver, Carson Hocevar, hadn't had a brain fart and took himself and Ryan Preece out, the two guys that were battling for the win? Probably not. So that's what Ryan Preece was just spectacular in his interviews. They come to talk to him, and he goes, listen, if you're a young driver and you're getting ready to start racing on a higher level, I want you to pay close attention and don't do that. Right there, you've learned something.
And then on the MRN radio part of it, they said, are you going to talk to him? He said, F no.
Yeah, he was so mad he actually used the F word on MRN, squeaky clean MRN radio. Dan, there was a pretty good ironic situation there, wasn't there?
Later on in the night when the Cup practice came out, Ryan Preece had an issue in Cup practice and actually spun off the corner. So on the Twitter feed for Fox, they put, Ryan Preece goes around in practice, and Carson Hocevar commented on it. Don't do that.
Yes.
Smart ass.
He is, but he's Ed. I believe what he is your poster child for a rich kid coming up into racing. He has talent. Let's not make any mistake about it. He has talent. You got to get him kind of reeled in and get him focused the right direction. And he's probably going to have a great career. I remember the first time Kurt Busch raced. It must have been in the trucks that I was listening to that race, and drivers right and left were going, that SOB is out of control. He don't know what he's doing. He can't do it. He's over his head.
Do you remember in the 01 500, Earnhardt's final race? Do you remember who he flipped off in that race about halfway through? It was Kurt Busch.
I thought that was at Pocono. No?
I thought it was in the 500 that race.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah. Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. Kurt Busch was at Matt Kenseth's wedding, and that's where I met Kurt. And I said, man, it's fun to watch you race, man. It's not every day that you can get Dale Earnhardt to flip you off. No, so then Matt got married in 2000, so it had to have happened by then. And he goes, oh yeah, well, I didn't really mean for that to happen. He's all apologetic. No, it was great, man. You don't be apologizing. You're a driver. I'd rather, what do they say? It's harder to push a rope. I'd rather have to reel them in. And I think that's what we're watching with Sam Mayer, only it's going even faster for Sam. He is learning every single time he hits the track. Was that the first time he even raced at Charlotte yesterday? Yesterday. Was that his first race there, Dan?
I'll have to look. On the oval, did he have a truck start there? I'm not sure. I don't. So I think it might have.
Don't think so. Maybe an ARCA? Did he maybe run an ARCA race there? I'm not sure about that either. But
that's possible.
He didn't. He did not run a truck race there. So I thought I heard him say something yesterday that might be his first time ever there.
I like Sam as he's always on kill. I mean, Even they pass him, and he'll try to cross over and get right back. I mean, he's always seems to be wanting to go forward. I mean, and again, he said you just got to rein him in a little bit because sometimes I get into some mistakes, but it's a good problem to have because you don't have to fire him up. He's always on.
What an exciting young driver he is, and keeping in mind that the kid is going to be 19 shortly, he's still a young driver. So unbelievable. Lines are open. Go ahead. Be brave. Give us a call. We'll be right back.
Make the most out of your summer at Elkhart Lakes Road America. June is jam-packed with nonstop racing action. Don't miss a minute of the fun. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under. Up next is the Moto America Superbike Series and Vintage Moto Fest weekend, June 3rd through the 5th. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
It's another exciting night of racing at the Fair Park in Plymouth this Saturday. The Inex Legend cars will make a special appearance to join the stars and cars that race weekly. High-powered late models, wing sprint cars, and the always exciting Grand Nationals and B-Mods. Opening ceremonies at 6 o'clock, racing to follow immediately. And plan ahead for the Road America Challenge on Thursday, June 30th, presented by Cunis RV, featuring the IRA and R360s. Always plenty of action. We'll see you there.
For over a century, man and machine have defied everything to win at Indy.
Voigt, Unser, Mears, and maybe Castroneves. Elio takes the lead out of turn one.
The NTT IndyCar Series is back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Castroneves comes to the start-finish line. Twin checkers out, and then there were four.
Listen live this Sunday.
Coverage starts at 11 a.m. on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Before we talk about the All-Star race last week, guys, I noticed here on Facebook there's a lot of folks saying that Ty Majeski's Achilles heel is his crew for his truck. Once again, they kind of hurt him more than they helped him yesterday. Although I think things got better after a while, but for some reason, I don't know what it is. Is he the last team to get the guys over there, or what?
What are you talking about?
His pit crew on the truck team is.
They don't ever gain him any spots. I'll tell you that. No. He always seems to be losing spots on pit road, or at very best just coming out at the same in the same spot as where he was before. They seldom get him a gain. So I don't know if ThorSport doesn't have an in with some of the pit crews like the other teams do. GMS, a lot of times they get some of the Hendrick guys and stuff like that, and then Kyle Busch's team gets a lot of the Joe Gibbs teams out there. I don't know if ThorSport doesn't have that in, and if they don't have that in, that's a distinct disadvantage you're going to have.
Yeah, I know they're one of the younger crews out there, aren't they? I thought that whole group is pretty young, and they're all coming up together. So, I mean, there are not a lot of veterans, I think, on the crew side of that.
And they do the same thing, right? They got to learn together.
They had some good stops. I mean, the first stop they had yesterday was really good. And then had some circumstances that required more chassis adjustments than other guys were making, and had a poor stop that way and made it look bad. But I don't think the guys are that bad.
Okay, it's interesting. So I'm just reading what I see on Facebook here. All right, guys, we have to talk about this crazy exhibition they had last week at Texas. First of all, as an event goes, when the highlight is the starting lineups. And then the race itself is terrible. Something's going on. But at the end is what they've been buzzing about all week. Ryan Blaney, NASCAR screwed up twice, and it's pretty obvious they screwed up. The first one was, well, look, this would give us a real lame excuse to have a close finish. Let's go ahead. That car isn't anywhere near being in trouble or affecting the safety of this race, but let's throw a caution anyway, right as Ryan Blaney is about to cross the stripe. So it was so close as he's about to cross that he thought it was over, and a guy unhooks his window net, as we all know. And I feel bad for the guy all the way around. So NASCAR makes mistake number 1 right there. All right, now we're going to have a close finish here. So let's go back. Wait a minute. Our leader, doesn't have his window net up. So the question is now, what do we do? Larry Mack said, well, let's bring them through the infield. If the thing is not hooked up like he says it is, you have to hook it up, make sure it's tight, and therefore you'd have to put him at the rear. If it was hooked up tight, they just checked it, they could give him his spot back. Well, it was very obvious that it was not hooked up. NASCAR tried to tell themselves that it was hooked up just to save face, but by doing so made just another mistake, huge mistake, of going back green with a driver they knew was not in the right situation with safety equipment. So shame on NASCAR. They've had more egg on their face over this, I think, than anything they've ever done. And of all people to pull their pants down, there is one guy waiting in the wings and warming up because he knows exactly what NASCAR needs. And if you don't believe it, just ask him. It's Denny Hamlin, who finished second and right away said, I could have got into him and tapped him out of the way, but I didn't because I could see his net wasn't up. Just a rub.
But he couldn't. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Okay.
Because when he went to race, the window net looked like it was up. The way he had it strapped over the cage with the Velcro to put it up in place. But the window net was, and NASCAR said in the interview with Sam, our officials saw the internet that the window was up and both hands were on the wheel. And he did say we had one official pull a trigger that we wish we wouldn't have had.
Yeah, that's where it all started. They shouldn't have threw that yellow. You can't look to throw a yellow when a guy coming to the checkered flag just because you want a slam bag finish. It's not going to sit well with anybody. Everybody knows what that is. And that's where it all started. But then once it happened, they probably should have let Blaney come down and refasten that net. And now they claim, can you do that? They've bent rules like that before. They've done it during a race. I don't know if you remember a long time ago. I think it was the 3-car. I think it was Earnhardt. It was at Rockingham, maybe. They had a deal with lug nuts where they thought he didn't get all the lug nuts on the wheel because they had painted ones. I think there were like 3 were painted pink or something like that, and the rest were black, and they thought they were missing, and they weren't. They pulled them down. They weren't missing. They stopped that race. And I remember they threw a yellow, and they put him back in his place where it should be during the middle of the race. I remember everybody was going crazy. Darrell Waltrip was the announcer, and he was all, I never seen him stop a race for a guy like this, but they made it right is what they did. And they could have made it right on last week and let him come in and fix that net and just went back green, white, checker.
And you may
go ahead.
And you may have said that, it was up, but it wasn't up properly. I mean, they say these window nets are so tight and so stiff that the strongest guy in the crew is the one who's got to fasten it. All Blaney did was kind of, haphazardly get it up there so that it looks like it's closed. But
rig it.
Yeah, if he had hit anything, that thing was coming down. So that's not right. But that was NASCAR in pure desperation of a complete disaster of a night of what they had.
When he was trying to put it up, I was listening to his radio. And one of the engineers came on and said, take the Velcro strap, put it over the cage, and Velcro it back up. And that's what he did that. He took his 2 hands off the wheel, drove with his knees, and put the Velcro over the top of the cage and pulled it up into place. Right. So it looked like it was up.
Correct. But if you were to make contact with anything, that wasn't going to do any good, which is what Denny Hamlin's point was, which Denny's been really good at since about last year, before the playoffs, when he really became outspoken about everything, which I'm glad he does, because otherwise he's hated for everything, but at least you can respect him for that. He was correct in that, and that's exactly right. I mean, this was a desperation move by NASCAR to try to save face of what was a horrible race, and it really blew up in their face and only made it worse.
The odds of him getting hurt if he had crashed or got spun out or anything with the window net down were next to nothing. That's the thing. I mean, it's not like his seatbelt was loose,
Parts can get in there, though, Ed. I mean, if that window isn't secure...
But paint a black picture. I'm telling you, the odds are very slim that something's going to happen on the last lap when he gets spun out.
real hard now to put up? Were they not so hard to put up in the past?
Correct, they weren't as stiff before.
Because one of our listeners said, remember Earnhardt got out and cleaned the whole mud off his windshield at a time while he was going on the front stretch at Richmond. He got back in and put it up.
Yeah, they're new. It's a newer type of system now, and it's made to deflect any kind of debris that kind of gets in there.
No, it's there. The reason it's that tight is because it's that tight to pull, so the air doesn't. Remember, the old window nets used to flap in the breeze.
Right.
The new window nets are an aerodynamic advantage. The webbing is maximum made to pass the inspection deal. They'd make that window net solid if they could.
That's interesting. You probably want to call us and tell us about it, which you can do. Amazingly enough, the lines are still open. We'll be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit BonafideSafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
The Milwaukee Mile of Wisconsin State Fair Park roars back to life Father's Day Sunday, June 19th, as Track Enterprises presents the ARCA Midwest Tour. See the nation's top drivers with the best super late model stars in the Father's Day 100, presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. Upper Midwest Vintage Cars, Midwest Trucks, and Mid-Am Stock Cars will also be in action. Tickets available online at TrackEnterprises.com or at the gate on race day. For complete details, go to TrackEnterprises.com. Racing returns to Milwaukee Sunday, June 19th.
It's the Coca-Cola 600.
Start your engine!
The fans are on their feet here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Chastain tries the crossover move, drink wide with Butch in the middle. Battle for the lead. Here comes Chase Elliott to the outside of Kyle Larson.
The two Kyles battling for the lead. Larson cuts up in front of Kyle Busch. Busch battles back to the inside.
The Coca-Cola 600.
Sunday following coverage of the Indianapolis 500. The Coca-Cola 600 at 4 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back. I have a couple of just final thoughts about that business last week in the All-Star race at Texas. Dan, you brought up the part about Earnhardt was actually brought in and checked the lug nuts to make sure they were on the car. They were on the car. They were okay, so he got his spot back. And that's kind of what Larry Mack was saying last week, was that if they had brought Blaney down and found that the window net was down and they had to make sure it was put in there right, they would have had to put him at the rear. This is where I have a problem with it. No, I don't think they would have had to put him at the rear. They could have given him his spot back. Why? Because it's an exhibition race. I mean, Jeff Gordon was able to take a whole new car when he smashed it up on the first lap. You make exceptions for exhibition races, and that's exactly what they could have done here. If it was a safety issue. If the thing was down, okay, we made the mistake. We let him come in and make sure it was up, and we gave him his spot back. End of story. And that's what they should have done. But, hindsight, as they say, is perfect. And there's a lot to go through at the last minute. Now, that all being said, to me, that wasn't even the story of the race. The story of the race was how piss-poor Goodyear's left rear tires are holding up. What is the problem with that tire?
Not the tire. It's the teams. They've run out of ways to try and make these cars work. and camber that you can do, change the camber caster. You change the camber and toe on that rear tire. And they've been using that to get around. That's okay, but you cannot lower the air pressure, because when you have the air pressure down and the camber up, it's going to blow out. I don't care how, just flat. 10 laps, you're going to blow the tire out.
Why don't they learn, Ed?
Greg Stucker from Goodyear, keep blowing your tires. It's not the tire. It's the camber and the pressure, and you guys will not listen. We have a rule for minimum pressure of that tire.
Well, they're going below the pressure?
Well, sure, they go below the pressure because for the first 4 or 5 laps of the run, until the pressure comes up in a tire, that's how you adjust these cars now, is strictly through air pressure. Mm-hmm. I mean, 1 pound air pressure in this low-profile radial tire is almost 175 pounds of spring rate. So now they have digital air gauges that read in tenths, because a tenth of a pound is enough of a change to affect the car.
Well, that's amazing when you think about it.
Is that something where at Texas, because it was the All-Star race, teams were experimenting with it more? If that were a points race, it may not have been as
aggressive with it?
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Ed, that didn't happen in the first 5 laps after they went back out, though. It happened much further into a run.
Well, it depends upon how aggressive the guy was getting it. Some guys, some were long. It's like playing with a gun with 1 bullet in the chamber. It depends on how many times you pull the trigger. Yeah, it's just, if you're going to do that, here's what's going to happen. And Greg Stucker from Goodyear has explained that to NASCAR. And the teams keep going, how do you check the air pressure in the middle of the run? Now, the guys from Champion Wheel have developed a new valve stem core that will act as a bulletproof bleeder. And if they would allow these teams to run this new valve stem, it would act. You need a bleeder that you can trust, and that's hard to find. Instead of drilling holes in a wheel and putting some of those bleeders in, but this new bleeding system, which came out of the shock industry, looks like it might be a future for bleeders in these cars, and that because the low profile tire is on your passenger car is it's 1 pound of air. I mean, you put your passenger car 35 pounds of pressure, and it'll ride like a bored truck. You drop it down 5 pounds of 30 pounds of air pressure, it'll drive like a nice riding car. But you'll also
part of
lose
this
3
what I
miles
was
a
reading.
gallon.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Ed, part of this what I was reading was that the new chassis, this new car that they're driving, has more balance to the rear than its predecessor did, and that's making such a huge difference.
No,
you don't think so?
No, it's adjustable. It's front to rear adjustable.
that NASCAR has always hated bleeders, haven't they?
Yes, for a reason. It's just because the way it's done. I mean, there was a time where they're drilling bleed holes in the sidewall of the tire, and right in the tread of the tire with numbered drill sets. Back then, the tire guy had a numbered drill set. Well, if you drill this hole in the tire, it'll bleed this much over that period of time. Well, that's good until you have a red flag or a long yellow, and the tire drops way below the pressure it's supposed to be at. And now when it go back to green, the bleeder can't keep up because of the heat builds up so fast that it can't bleed it off fast enough. So. Yeah, and then that bleeders they're drilling holes in the wheels and putting tape over them. They would drill 3 or 4 holes with different numbered drills, and each tape had a different hole that they would actually. This comes back from the Jeff Gordon era, and the engine.
Ray Evernham.
Ray Evernham had 4 holes in a wheel with a numbered hole for each one of the pieces of tape, and he'd pull tape 3.
Attention moms and dads. This is a public worry announcement regarding kids going to the doctor for a checkup. What if the doctor doesn't listen to you? What if they're too busy? What if they don't remember your child? Thank you for listening. This has been a public worry announcement.
That's enough out of you.
Yeah.
Children's Wisconsin Primary Care is made for kids, which means fewer worries for everyone. Go to childrenswi.org/primary care today. No worries were mistreated, wounded, or harmed in the making of this radio ad, but they were removed by Children's Wisconsin.
Sears Hometown Store is celebrating a grand opening with an extra 10% off almost everything this Saturday, Sunday, and Monday at 2730 Heritage Drive in Delafield. Offers also available at our Cudahy location, too.
Okay, nobody knew what the hell he pulled tape 3. What's he talking about? He pulled a tape off that hole as the bleeder, and then as soon as a yellow would come out, they'd put the tape back over that hole and might use a different hole.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody got killed because of this issue, then all of a sudden I think bleeders would seem like a better idea. Nobody's getting killed yet. So good news, We like that. So it's going to stay this way until that actually happens. We'll be back.
Make the most out of your summer at Elkhart Lakes Road America. June is jam-packed with nonstop racing action. Don't miss a minute of the fun. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under. Up next is the Moto America Superbike Series and Vintage Moto Fest weekend, June 3rd through the 5th. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Road America, America's national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
It's another exciting night of racing at the Fair Park in Plymouth this Saturday. The INEX Legend cars will make a special appearance to join the stars and cars that race weekly. High-powered late models, wing sprint cars, and the always exciting Grand Nationals and B-Mods. Opening ceremonies at 6 o'clock, racing to follow immediately. And plan ahead for the Road America Challenge on Thursday, June 30th, presented by Kunis RV, featuring the IRA and our 360s. Always plenty of action. We'll see you there.
This week on NASCAR Live, we caught up with Denny Hamlin.
When I win with the 11 car, I knew I'd done my job as a race car driver. I didn't make the car faster. I didn't get it funded. I didn't do any of those things. I just had a very specific job. When my team cars win, I had a little hand in everything. And so there's just more blood, sweat, and tears like you talked about.
There's much more waiting for you each week on NASCAR Live.
Tuesday night at 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to the program, Ed.
Yeah, there was, back in the day, when I started in NASCAR in 1972, there was no such thing as nitrogen being used in tires. They just used whatever air was, come out of the compressor. And one day I checked it, saw a guy checking Ted Musgrave's right front, and water came spraying out. And I said, "Man, don't you guys use dry nitrogen?" "We don't use nitrogen at all." So I met with, back then, Stu Grant and Stucker about this air situation. And because in Indianapolis, it was a big problem with what NASCAR was actually putting in the tires. The humidity was so high at it that they were the first racetrack to install dry nitrogen compressors for the tires in Indianapolis. Now, this nitrogen deal was such a big thing. I worked with a company in New York to develop a gauge that you would breathe air over the gauge, and it would tell you what the dew point is inside the tire and the humidity. And their company started building tire dryers that would actually pump hot, dry air into the tires to get around this expansion deal, because back then, you could get as high as 15 to 20 pounds of air buildup in a tire. Well, now they got it down to like 5 or 6 pounds due to the dry nitrogen, And when a tire is built, it's layered with 4 layers, 5 layers. And in between each layer is a little bit of humidity. And as that thicker tire goes out and runs, all that humidity is released into the tire chamber, and you have to have a way to vent it out. So guys would actually scuff their tires to bring the temperature up and then get rid of the dew point that way and then put in hospital dry nitrogen. And it's more expensive. It had a white cap, and the bottles were more expensive to get this white, hot, nitrogen. So the air that you put into the tire was critical back then. In fact, Stock Car Racing Magazine wrote an article on me about this gauge that I sold like 150 of the gauges in 1 week.
Yeah, just to be clear about this now, you started in NASCAR in the early 70s, but you didn't bring this up until Ted Musgrave was racing in NASCAR, which was in the 90s, right?
No, it was actually, I started with the air thing before that, back in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Before Ted.
All right.
But Ted was just an example that I couldn't believe that water came out when he checked the air pressure.
Hey, this race is going to be televised today on Fox. You'll get the green flag at 5:18 Central Time. Coverage starts right here on the Big 920 at 4 o'clock this afternoon after the Indianapolis 500. Indy coverage starts as soon as this program is over, just to keep you up with what's going on. And so we encourage you to stay tuned to the Big 920 all day. It's going to be great stuff all day long.
Speaking of Indy, kudos to Jimmy Johnson. Hey, good, he's making his Indy 500 start, and I hope he has a good run today.
Yeah, no kidding. What does he have left to prove? I guess must be a bucket list thing for him, because last year he wasn't interested, right?
And he's in a very competitive race car too. So don't be surprised if he's running with them. The Ganassi cars are as strong as any of them. And did you also see that little thing that was dropped this week when he was in one of the media availabilities? They asked him about the double, and he goes, "Let's do it."
Yeah, he'd like to do it again.
I think the Indy 500 is a bucket list of any racer, really. I mean, it's just a big of an event. That'd be cool. I see Kyle Busch had a deal to run it back in like 17, but that got nixed by Gibbs. So
you say to yourself, well, maybe he's up in his 40s now. Maybe he wouldn't be in physical condition to do the double. Oh, you might be wrong about that. This guy runs and bikes all the time. Matter of fact, didn't Matt just race against him in the Boston Marathon?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, so
would Hendrick be interested in putting a car together for Jimmy to do the double? That would be.
It is legal.
Yeah.
Actually, Ed, you're the one that pointed out to me it's legal for a fifth car, but it has to be a rookie.
Car.
A rookie, right?
Yeah.
For a fifth car?
Oh, no, it's satellite car. It's kind of like this new rule that Trackhouse is trying to come up with called the 91.
Oh, yeah.
Trackhouse 91. They're bringing in
Kimi Raikkonen.
Kimi Raikkonen for the road course.
Yeah. Yeah, Trackhouse Racing announced that they're going to do this Project 91 thing, which is pretty cool, really. And it would be to add another car without a charter. And that's what's going to happen at Watkins Glen. Kimi Raikkonen. By the way, NASCAR don't have no driver's named Kimi. But anyway, isn't Raikkonen retired?
Like
Jimmy.
He ran a truck race, and I saw him running an Xfinity race at Charlotte for Kyle Busch back in like 2011. It was kind of cool to see. And he's right in the press room because he's one of the most dry interviews in how he says any words. And they asked him, they're all the NASCAR guys were up there, and they're all the media people were all excited. Kimmy, what makes you want to try NASCAR? Why do you want to come over here and run ovals? And he says, why do you want to come run NASCAR? And he looked at him and he goes, why not? And that was it.
Why not? Yeah, perfect. Denny Hamlin will start on the pole today. Denny turned a 29.399 second lap, which translates to 183.680 miles per hour. Kurt Busch, the car that Denny owns, will be starting right alongside in the 45 car. Then the 20 car. And Christopher Bell, boy, does he need a good run or what? This has been, at times, a pretty good Toyota track, hasn't it, gentlemen?
The mile and a half has been pretty good for Toyota so far this year. Kurt Busch won at Kansas, and Kyle dominated at Vegas before the late yellow. I mean, I think that they have a shot. I mean, can he do it for 600 miles? This is a long race. It's 4 stages, 100 laps each one, and then transitions in the night. This is always more of a survival deal. You had to be there at nighttime and to really be in the end. And it changed so much during the race that you had to be up on top of the car to make the changes to keep up with the track and the conditions.
And let's hope, watching the Xfinity race yesterday with the multiple grooves, the guys running up along the wall and all that, let's hope that the Cup cars are going to be able to do the same thing today, because then we won't get a snoozer. You know, generally the last how many years the 600 hasn't been the most intriguing race of them all, you know, and if they're able to have a track where they're able to run all over from top to bottom, maybe it'll be an interesting race today, and that's what we hope. The only thing is, you're running at night, that changes it. The Xfinity race was run during the daylight yesterday in the heat, and that usually makes it slicker, and you run from top to bottom. With the majority of this race being at the night, I don't know. We'll see if we can do that.
Charlotte is about the most sensitive track that there is for temperature and shade. And when you're running, well, it's daylight yet, you run through 1 and 2 where they got those condos, and it's different than on the other end of the track, right, Ed?
But the rosin they're running now is so much improved over the PJ1, and I'll explain later.
Good. We'll be back.
The Milwaukee Mile of Wisconsin State Fair Park roars back to life Father's Day Sunday, June 19th, as Track Enterprises presents the ARCA Midwest Tour. See the nation's top drivers with the best super late model stars in the Father's Day 100, presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. Upper Midwest Vintage Cars, Midwest Trucks, and Mid-Am Stock Cars will also be in action. Tickets available online at TrackEnterprises.com or at the gate on race day. For complete details, go to TrackEnterprises.com. Racing returns to Milwaukee Sunday, June 19th.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Make the most out of your summer at Elkhart Lakes Road America. June is jam-packed with nonstop racing action. Don't miss a minute of the fun. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under. Up next is the Moto America Superbike Series and Vintage Moto Fest weekend, June 3rd through the 5th. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years, PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
Green flag is in the air, and we are underway as the field goes to turn 1.
Heads back to the Show Me stage.
Trouble further back. One truck goes around, make heavy contact. It's Derek Griffith. He'll back it into the wall in between 1 and 2.
For another trip around Gateway.
Sheldon Creed dominates tonight, and he takes the checkered flag.
It's the Toyota 200.
Join us Saturday. Coverage starts at noon on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
The LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Yes, this is the biggest racing weekend of the year across the country. Unfortunately, Mother Nature hampered a lot of the events, especially down in the Indiana area. They're supposed to have USAC racing all week down there at Circle City Raceway and Terre Haute, and all those events washed out, unfortunately. So we fast forward all the way to Friday night. We got started up here in Chilton, Wisconsin at the Gravity Park Race Speedway. In the modifieds, Hunter Parsons was your feature winner. The stock cars went to Mitch Meyer, and the Grand Nationals went to Jeff Muehlbauer. Up at Seymour, the Outagamie County Speedway, the Wabam Dirt Kings Late Model Tour was up there, and Troy Springborn is 2 for 2 in the Dirt Kings this year. He picked up the win there. In the modifieds, it was Jaden Schmidt, and the IMSA stock cars was Mike Mullen. Over at Fountain City, Wisconsin, the Mississippi Thunder Raceway, it's only their second race of the year. They ran way back at the beginning of the month when Dan and I were over there for the Outlaws, but they've been rained out every week since. They did get it in the USRA mods. David Baxter was your winner, and the limited late models went to Brad Waits. Up at Superior, the Gondik Law Speedway, the snow must have finally melted up there. They finally got their season underway, and the Wissota Modifieds, Brandon Kopp was your winner. Over in Wheatland, Missouri at the Lucas Oil Speedway, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series 30th Annual Show Me 100. Preliminary night number 1 on Thursday was rained out, but they did get night number 2 in, $6,000 to win. Johnny Scott was your winner there. And in Brownsburg, Indiana, the Lucas Oil Raceway Park, this is a pavement event, but these are dirt cars that were running there. The USAC Midgets and the Silver Crown cars were there, and Bobby Santos won both events Friday night in the Carb Night Classic. Last night at Plymouth in the late models, Justin Ritchie picked up his first feature win of the season. In the MSA 360 Sprints, Travis Aarons got the win. I believe that's his third already this year. And in the Grand Nationals was Matt Lower. Francis Crick, the 141 Speedway. In the modifieds, J.J. Anderson was your winner. Stock cars went to Luke Lemons, and the Grand Nationals went to Ryan Minster. Shawano in the late models, Joel Bennett was your winner. In the modifieds, Jeremy Hedrick. And in the IMSA stock cars was Vern Stege. Never said that name before, so that's probably his first win. So congratulations. Cool. Wilmot, the IRA wingless sprints were there. Alan Henford was your winner, and the modifieds went to Mike Simons. Rice Lake, the IRA 410 sprint cars were up there for the first time in, I believe, 13 years. And the last guy to win there was Scotty Neitzel. I believe he was the only guy there that had ever run there before, so he did what he does best. He picked up the win up there in the IRA feature. Spring Valley, Minnesota, the Deer Creek Speedway, the USMTS modifieds were there for $10,000 to win. Derek Ramirez was your winner. Down in Knoxville for the 410 sprint cars, Austin McCarl was your winner, and the 360s went to Aaron Reitzel. Port Royal, Pennsylvania, the All-Star Circuit of Champions. Sprint cars were there. If you get a chance to find highlights of this one on the internet, take a look at them. Anthony Macri picked up the win. It was a thrilling race. A lot of times people say half-mile racing isn't any good. It was incredible. There must have been about 4 passes for the lead in the last 2 laps, and Anthony Macri held off Lance DeWeese for the win there. Chillicothe, Ohio, the Atomic Speedway for the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Sheldon Howdenchild picked up the win there. Hartford, Ohio, the Sharon Speedway, the World of Outlaw Case Construction Late Models, $20,000 to win. Ryan Gustin finally got his first World of Outlaw Late Model feature win of his career, and he got one that paid a little more than others, so that was good. Wheatland, Missouri, the Lucas Oil Speedway, the 30th Annual Show Me 100, $50,000 to win. And Chris Ferguson picked up the win in that event. Kind of an upset win for him, although he's been good there. He's won some Lucas race there before, but he was not one of the heavy hitters that was expected. He passed. It was actually an incident with him and Jonathan Davenport with about 30 to go and allowed him to pick up the win. Finally, in Anderson, Indiana, this is a pavement track also, but these are dirt cars. The 74th Annual Lucas Oil Little 500 was run last night. 500 laps with the 410 non-wing sprint cars, and Tyler Rohrig picked up his second consecutive Little 500 win. Kenny Schrader was in that race. He did not finish. Ryan Newman was in that race. He did not finish. A lot of attrition in that race, as you can imagine. But Tyler Rohrig was even in an incident earlier in that race. I was watching it on and off and came through the field and picked up the win. So congratulations to him. 2 in a row on that one is special.
Macy's Memorial Day sale has everything you need to dive into summer the right way, with specials like 30 to 40% off sandals, slides, and more, and 25 to 40% off tops and shorts from Inc., Tommy Hilfiger, and more. Plus, refresh your space with 50% off hotel bedding. And Macy's Star Rewards members can earn rewards even faster during Star Money Bonus Days. See Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
And
that is everything for this week.
Outstanding. Our results from the world of asphalt coming to us from Paul Reichert. Thanks to Paul, as usual. Starting Thursday night at Wisconsin International Raceway in Kaukauna. It was rained out. A little further north, it did not rain at State Park Speedway, Wausau. In the super late models, Travis Volm was your winner. Friday night, a busy little time around these parts. Friday at Madison, they had the NASCAR late models. They had twin features since they were rained out from the week before. Michael Bilderback won one of them, and Zach Riddle won the other one. Congrats to those guys. At Norway, Michigan, boy, oh boy, good news, bad news. The super late models, Justin Mondyke was your winner, but the terrible news that comes from there, after the super late model feature was over, another event was going on. A couple of cars went off the track and struck a track safety worker. They had taken him away to the hospital. They ended the night's racing, and unfortunately, we found out afterwards that he was killed in that wreck. Greg Moss, a longtime Norway Speedway track safety worker, died as a result of a car leaving the racetrack and going into the pits up there the other night. Just a terrible story all the way around, and we're thinking about him and his family this weekend. The Midwest Dash Series ran at Toma. Phil Maloff won that one. Saturday night, Dells Raceway Park, CWRA late models. It was the Lyle Nabafelt Memorial. Jesse Bernhagen won the CWA portion, and then they ran their own late model feature, and so they had twin late models features. Nick Nolden won that one. At Jefferson Speedway, they had the ARCA Midwest Tour. Dan, you went to that one, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty decent race. Jacob Nottestad got his first tour win. It does good for him in that Kawicki development program.
Oh, yeah.
Got to work for it. I mean, Johnny DeLand just gave him a run for it. Gabe Summers gave him a run for it. And he's able to hold them both off, get the win. Casey Johnson moved up from 11th to finish 3rd, so he was kind of there at the end. But pretty good event out Jefferson.
Led every lap, did the super late model rookie. So his quest for that national title is going pretty well for the Kawicki development program too. And let's see, lacrosse, it was Steve Bachman your winner. Rockford, it was Jake Guiley your winner. Oh, I should throw in Dennis Prunty's streak of 602 late model wins ended yesterday, and Jason Stark won it out at Jefferson Speedway. We're going to take a break. We'll be back and tell you about what's going on at Slinger Speedway right after this.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Elkhart Lakes Road America this 4th of July weekend. The NASCAR Quick Trip 250, presented by Jockey Made in America, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series Henry 180 guarantees high-speed thrill and endless family fun. Enjoy the family fun zone, camping on site, and free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years, PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
It's another exciting night of racing at the Fair Park in Plymouth this Saturday. The INEX Legend cars will make a special appearance to join the stars and cars that race weekly. High-powered late models, wing sprint cars, and the always exciting Grand Nationals and B-Mods. Opening ceremonies at 6 o'clock, racing to follow immediately. And plan ahead for the Road America Challenge on Thursday, June 30th, presented by Kunis RV, featuring the IRA and our 360s. Always plenty of action. We'll see you there.
For over a century, man and machine have defied everything to win at Indy.
Voigt, Unser, Mears, and maybe Castroneves. Elio takes the lead out of turn one.
The NTT IndyCar Series is back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Castroneves comes to the start-finish line. Twin checkers out, and then there were four.
Listen live this Sunday.
Coverage starts at 11 a.m. on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back. Last week at the Slinger Speedway, Jeff Holtz was your winner in the late models. The Modifieds ran one of their events. They don't run every week, but when they do, they put on a show. Mike Sandholm is a buddy of yours, isn't that, Ed?
Yeah, he works at Hefner's. He's good. I got a hell of a story for the engine that's in that car. The engine was laying in the back of the shop forever, and he was, hey, what's that engine back there? And they said, well, go ahead and use it. And they put it in the car. You know, no idea. All they know is that it was built by Carl Wagner over 20 years ago, and it had plenty of power.
It still's winning races. That's pretty cool. Dennis Prunty won last week to make it 3 for 3 in his 602 Outlaw late model. So he is now 3 for 4 in that series. Of course, tonight, the super late models make their return to the Slinger Speedway, a 75-lap feature, and...
Fireworks.
Right. I just know you wanted to say that, Ed, and so I thought it's going to be pretty neat tonight. Some couple of the guys that have, like for instance, Steve Apel is going to make his return to Slinger Speedway after being off because of the issues with his son Cameron. By the way, little Cameron is going to be at the track tonight, and the family asks nicely that even though there's a lot of love for this kid and a lot of people that are rooting for him, but they don't want you to come up and hug him and kiss him and all that. He's still immunocompromised, and you need to keep your distance. So tell him you love him from a distance if you don't mind, and it'll be great to have the little guy back there. By the way, Brad Miller is going to be coming back to Slinger Speedway tonight. Did I get that right? That's pretty cool stuff. Derek Kraus is going to be there tonight. Mike Egan's making a return to Slinger. I haven't seen Mike in a while. And be a good night to come out to the Slinger Speedway. So we'll see you there. Our racing gets underway at 6:30. Dan, what do you got?
Well, I think you'll see a lot of pretty good cars. And you always watch the super late when they run the dash. You know, the top 6 run out and they run the dash. Mm-hmm. Some guys kind of just maybe, you know, they don't. I don't know. They try, but it's not like they're really going for it. Well, the dash has got some incentives now. There's going to be an incentive to win the dash. If you win the dash, you get $200. If you finish second, you get $100, and third, you get $50. So there's some the super late model dash coming up here. So it's incentive on qualifying, making that dash, and winning it. You can get some extra cash in addition to what the purse is up this year for the supers anyway. It's $2,500 to win minimum.
$2,500 to win.
Minimum. It's a minimum. I mean, it could be more. So.
Oh, I see. That's the minimum. Pretty cool. So we're looking forward to seeing you at Slinger Speedway tonight and making our return out there. All right, gentlemen, we're getting ready to race the Coca-Cola 600, what we like to call the World 600, what they used to call it. I said I was going to pick the 8 car till he won. Reddick, I would, but I really have a feeling it's going to be Martin Truex tonight. That's going to be my pick. Ed, who are you taking?
I'm taking Blaney in a 12.
All right. Dano?
I'll go way on a limb and take Christopher Bell. I don't know why. And Indy, my heart says Jimmy Johnson. My head says probably Alex Palou.
Brian, who are you thinking?
I think it's going to be an angry Denny Hamlin that's going to win it tonight. And he's going to have all kinds of things to say in the press conference afterwards, which would be fun to watch.
Yeah.
And Kyle Larson, he crashed in practice but did not disqualify, so he starts tailback. It'd be fun to watch him come through the field.
And 400 laps on a 1.5 mile track really means that starting in the back doesn't mean very much. Let's put it that way.
He was the fastest car in practice by far.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, even though he was considerably slower than what they qualified at. So I suppose that means that they taped the car up and all that sort of thing, huh? After practice?
He had a just fast car.
Oh, okay. Very good.
What about the Indy 500, Todd? Who's going to win the Indy 500, Todd?
Well, ask Ed first.
I'll take the Chip Ganassi driver of the 48.
Jimmy Johnson?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I'll take the first 5-time winner then in that case.
Elio?
I love Elio Castroneves.
Oh, that would be cool. I said this is a tough one this year. That's a really wide open field there, but I can see something strange like a Pato Ward winning this race. That'd be my pick today.
Oh my! How about that? Let us not forget that this weekend is about memorializing those who have given their lives in defense of this great country, and a special tip of the cap to my daughter, who is right now the Command Master Chief on the USS Cole. You remember that ship? That was the one that got bombed before 9/11. She's out in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea right now, and we're thinking about her this weekend. And to everybody else that tunes into this program, we love you for doing it. And don't forget, real race cars have doors, no matter what they tell you in Formula One or Indianapolis. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta, our in-house engineer, website coordinator, and king of the knobs is Matt Hangover Losi. For all of us involved with this program, we want you to have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Don't forget what it's all about. We'll see you at Slinger Speedway tonight, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.
Macy's Memorial Day sale has everything you need to dive into summer the right way, with specials like 30 to 40% off sandals, slides, and more, and 25 to 40% off tops and shorts from Inc., Tommy Hilfiger, and more. Plus, refresh your space with 50% off hotel bedding. And Macy's Star Rewards members can earn rewards even faster during Star Money bonus days. See Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.